Some of y'all is your own worst enemy. That's why your ass get curved trying to befriend a P. Whenever you try, you fail and don't know why. Meanwhile, you looking at pimpin' winning, he so fly. But it's a method to this madness, man. With structure and order, you got to be a savage, man. Otherwise, you play or hate yourself. You can't thrive when you never regulate yourself. Let's go.
Bitch, you want all this pimpin' you can't afford. Perform like a punk, but wanna win his reward. Some suckers give you points, but bitch, you never scored. If you ain't paying pimpin', then bitch, you getting ignored.
Okay.
I'm so sick of these.
Man, I wish the background was this motherfucking fly all the time, man. I just wish it was whatever time it is right now. What is it? 7 o'clock. I wish it was 7 o'clock all the motherfucking time, man, constantly, so I can have this fly ass background, man, so y'all can get the ambiance, man, so y'all can really see what's going on, you know what I mean, with a pimp's view. But a lot of you motherfuckers need some rules in your life, man. A lot of y'all be trying shit, don't get nowhere. A lot of y'all, whatever you endeavor to do, the shit just don't go right and you wondering why. A lot of you motherfuckers don't have no rules. You know what I mean? Like I said, a lot of y'all sleep too much. A lot of y'all spend too much time with leisure. A lot of y'all spend time and make things that are unimportant urgent. You know? Think about that. You make a lot of unimportant things urgent. And things that are important, you don't make that urgent. You know, like social media. A lot of y'all make that urgent, but it's not important. As opposed to feeding your brain, reading, exercising, eating right. That's important, but you don't make it urgent, right? So these are just examples of things that should guide you when it comes to making rules, right? But you gotta have rules in your life. If you think about any successful person, whatever successful person you could think of, they have rules. And any failure that you could think of, just think about how many rules they got, if any. 9 times out of 10, they ain't got none. And it's no different for this game, this lifestyle of pimping and hoeing. If you think about certain hoes, I like to use a track as an example. If you go to just about any track nowadays, the majority of bitches on the track have no rules. They smoking and drinking. This is the result of not having any rules, not getting pimped on, not having no order and no structure. They smoking and drinking, you know, and 9 times out of 10, whatever drugs they using, they getting the best. If they can, they getting the best of it. You know, the best cocaine, the best weed, the best alcohol, what have you, right? And they doing this on the job. You can't think of any other profession, you know, aside from maybe a bartender or something like that, where motherfucker is actually like under the influence on their job. You know, and a smart bartender ain't even gonna do that. But I'm talking about a real profession. You know, a profession where motherfuckers stand to make, you know, 6 figures and better a year. You can't think of any profession where this individual doesn't have a rule about being under the influence while they at work. But hoes, you know, hoes who stand to potentially make that much money if they had rules, they don't have rules. So they getting high, they getting drunk on the job, on the track, and not even being discreet with it, just got themselves on blast, being on display with it. And so that's a black eye right there, right? Just the mere image of them getting drunk or high on the job. That in and of itself is a black eye. You dig? Because most people who spend money, especially if they gonna spend more money than they would spend on average things, they want to spend money on quality. And 9 times out of 10, when you present quality to people, they don't have a problem paying a premium for that quality. Meaning they don't have a problem spending more money for that quality. But a part of you receiving more money and getting this person or these people to spend more money for that quality, you got to have some rules. And it ties into being a professional about what you do. So a professional with rules, they're gonna have a rule about at least not being on display when they getting drunk or high on the job. But again, a real professional is not even gonna do it, whether it's bold or discreet or whatever. They just not gonna do that on the job, because they know that being under the influence of alcohol or drugs is gonna make them vulnerable at their job, because they dealing with men that could potentially be dangerous. So they're not gonna have the best mind. They're not gonna be thinking at the highest level if they get themselves in a situation. Not just that, they're more likely to put themselves in a situation because they're more likely to be belligerent, they're more likely to be irritable, they're more likely to be disrespectful when they under the influence of this shit. So that gives you an idea of how not only rules can protect you, but they can help you be successful. They can help you get more money, right? But I just want you to picture like anybody that you could think of that's successful. They got rules. They got structure. They got order. They're together, right? Another thing you ain't gonna see a professional do is go to work looking any kind of way, right? Again, you go to the track, I guarantee you're gonna see a whole bunch of bitches looking any kind of way. And when I say the track, I don't mean just the blade, I mean the carpet too. You know, whether it's the strip in Vegas, downtown Chicago, Kahio in Hawaii, Waikiki, Collins in South Beach, or OBT or Fig or E14 or Harry Hines, Bissonnette, any of that shit, right? Bourbon Street, wherever you go, it's a high likelihood that the majority of them bitches in those places that's down is gonna be looking any kind of way, right? And see, like I spoke about speaking with your appearance. When you speak the right things with your appearance, you make people take you more seriously. So that should be a rule of yours. If you a professional and you plan to make the most, you plan to be the most successful at whatever it is that you're doing, that should be a rule to speak the right shit with your appearance, to look the best that you possibly could look, to be the most presentable that you can, so that you can attract the right kind of people. Because when you look like whatever, you're gonna attract whatever. But if you're intentional about what you look like, then you're gonna be intentional about what you attract. You're gonna attract the right type of people to spend the right type of money with your ass. And this really applies to anything, you know, but we just speaking on pimping and hoeing right now. It applies to anything. And it's the same thing with the pimping, right? When I go out there, it's a rule that I have to be together. I can't go out there and not shave. I can't go out there with my hair looking any kind of way. I can't go out there with my clothes, you know, fucked up, or, you know, wearing some gym clothes, some basketball shorts, or some Chuck Taylors or some shit like that. You know, it's a rule of mine as a professional pimp to look a certain type of way when I'm going out there, because I want to attract the best. So naturally, I want to reciprocate that. I want to look the best, you know? Now, it's a possibility that I can, you know, attract the best looking like whatever, because I'm not an ugly individual, but I heighten my chances of getting what I want when I look a certain way. So that's a rule of mine, right? I also have other rules of mine as far as, you know, how I delegate my time throughout my day. You know, I have to spend so much time reading. I have to spend so much time working out. As a lot of y'all know, there's a whole lot of shit that I don't eat. So I have a whole bunch of rules when it comes to food. Like, there's a whole bunch of shit that I don't eat. My diet is very simple. So, those are my rules when it comes to that. A lot of y'all also know that I don't smoke or drink or do drugs or anything like that, you know, because I treat my body a certain type of way because I want my body to feel a certain way and I want it to look a certain way, and I just want to be as healthy as I possibly can and as physically fit and all that as I possibly can. So I have a lot of rules when it comes to that as well, right? And the rules when it comes to me studying is so that I have knowledge to better execute whatever it is that I want to execute and better communicate when I speak. Because when you read and you constantly expanding your vocabulary, you're gonna be able to communicate a whole lot better than a motherfucker that's watching reality TV and on social media all day, every day, and they not spending no time reading, feeding and nurturing their mind, right? So these are just a few examples of some rules, but you can just imagine. That's just like when you a lot of y'all who work a square job, you already know that at your job you can't just come up there any kind of way. They have rules, and that's why they survive and thrive as long as they do. You know, certain corporations that have been around 50 and 100 years and all that type of shit, they last because they got rules, right? So if you have a lot of problems with your endeavors as far as not getting where you want to get, you know, it might not always be the case, but just think about that. Ask yourself, like, what are your rules, right? Like me, I got a lot of rules when it comes to dealing with women. A whole lot of rules. You know what I mean? A hoe can't just come to me any kind of way. And that's why I don't end up having a lot of hoes. You know, and it's funny because you got certain cats that like brag about having so many hoes. And they brag, they try to look down on certain pimps who haven't had as many hoes as them. Now, I've had a good number of hoes, but it's a whole lot of P's that have been in the game as long as me, some not as long as me, that have had way more hoes than I've had. But they have way less rules than I have. And they have way more drama than I've had. You know, just about all of us, you know, we're going to experience some type of drama in this game at some point in time or another. But other motherfuckers, they gonna deal with a whole lot more shit because they allow they pimping to be more accessible because they just don't have as many rules. So it's much easier for a hoe to fuck with them than it is a high caliber motherfucker like Freeze. You dig? So like I say, rules. Failures don't have rules. Successful motherfuckers have quite a few rules. You dig? Specific rules pertaining to specific things, man. Let that marinate on your mind one time. Freeze is it. Go ahead, put some of this good old love shit in your body, like so. Holla.
Now come and take a sip of this game. Pour it down your ear and let it drip to your brain so you can run it up, run it up. And we'll be coming up, really coming up. Take a sip of this game, let it saturate your brain. Taylor, make your homework so we can match it with my name. Then attach it to your frame, right? Now you game tight. Ready, set, ho. You gon' check her back the same night. Now you breaking tricks and handling thousands. While these bitches on the blade doing the mannequin challenge. Standing there looking stupid cause they has no game to hit a trick with, bitch, and that's so lame. Now come and take a sip of